Try finger, butthole, try finger, butthole, try finger, butthole, try finger, butthole, try finger, butthole. What does it mean? What are its origins? Why is this message scattered throughout the land? So many questions, and yet so little answers. Today we're taking a deep dive into try finger, butthole, and the true hidden meaning behind this phrase. This might be a long one, so fucking thunder. This might be a long one, so sit back, grab some popcorn, and enjoy. Now, before we can truly grasp and understand the intricacies of the meaning behind try finger, butthole, we need to have an understanding of what it is. According to one of the most reliable sources on the internet, knowyourmeme.com, try finger, butthole refers to a prominent Dark Souls player message that became a catchphrase in memes after the release of Elden Ring in late February 2022. Now, as convincing as that sounds, and knowing how reliable knowyourmeme.com is, it will come to you as a shock, but this sentence is actually false information. Try finger, butthole dates further back than February 2022 with the release of Elden Ring. Matter of fact, try finger, butthole dates so far back that no one truly knows when the concept was first conceived. Now, I'm no conspiracy theorist, but this could quite possibly be a cover-up by the CIA trying to throw us off of finding the true meaning of try finger, butthole. Unfortunately, it seems that they've infiltrated knowyourmeme.com. Very unfortunate. Continuing on, in such messages, players would leave an in-game note for others to see in their game world, comprised of pre-selected words, with try finger, butthole becoming one of the most prevalent over the years. Now, while this is true, it doesn't tell you the entire story. In order to give you a better understanding of try finger, butthole, I'm gonna paint you an image. Imagine yourself walking into a room. Now, this could be a dark room, a light room, a room filled with joy, a room filled with sadness. It doesn't matter, you're just walking into a room. And in said room, there's something on the floor, bent over. Now, this thing that's bent over, it could be anything. It could be a corpse, it could be a person, it could be a skeleton. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as its rump is pointed towards the sky, or perhaps even the heavens. Being the person that you are, you go behind said rump, and you take in the view. You're in shock, in awe of what you are witnessing with your very eyes. It's as if you went your entire life without ever truly living. The sightline that has breathed new life down to your very core is something akin to the Grand Canyon. It's like seeing the Boreal Valley for the first time. Knowing what you have discovered, you are urged to share your discovery with others in hope that they too would be saved by the rump. So, with no time to spare, you reach into your bag, pull out a message, and start writing. Try finger, butthole. Now, while no one truly has a clear understanding of the origins of try finger, butthole and how the message spread so fast, we do have an idea of how it did. From the very moment the first try finger, butthole message was placed behind a rump, I can only assume it set off some sort of chain reaction of try finger, butthole messages being placed behind rumps everywhere. One soul after another being saved by the rump. As for its origins, it could have dated as far back as Demon Souls, which was first released in February of 2009. Now, if I'm being completely honest, I have never personally played the original Demon Souls, so I'm not 100% sure if the message try finger, butthole was possible to create. However, at the time, I believe there was an early iteration of try finger, butthole, created by the creator of the game himself, Hidetaka Miyazaki. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, how did Miyazaki create an early iteration of try finger, butthole? How would he do that? Did he put a message in the game? Well, no, he didn't do anything like that. It's actually a quote that an NPC says. Of course, the NPC I'm talking about is the Maiden in Black. When you go to the Maiden in Black to level up, occasionally she will say, "Touch the demon within me."
Then touch the demon inside me.
Many scholars and philosophers from all around the world have been wondering for years of how could one touch the demon within the Maiden in Black? And the conclusion that they all came to was Try-Finger Butthole. But even still, with this information, no one truly knows the origins of Try-Finger Butthole, as it has been lost to time. Perhaps time itself is truly the enemy of humanity. We will never truly know whether Try-Finger Butthole was created by a nameless nobody, or if it was a seed planted by the creator Hidetaka Miyazaki, which has sprouted into the very thing we know today, similar to an Erd tree. And speaking of Erd trees, that brings us to Elden Ring. There is something in Elden Ring that is not in any of the other games. Only someone with a keen eye for small details would have noticed this. In fact, not even I noticed it at first until someone in chat told me a few months ago. As you probably already know, Elden Ring is the biggest out of all of FromSoft Souls games. And with it being so big, there's obviously a lot more enemies and NPCs. A few of these enemies and or NPCs are actually quite different from the others. They are very unique. They have mottled buttholes. I won't get too deep into it as I don't want to spoil the fun for those who want to go butthole hunting in Elden Ring, but one of the dogs in K-Lids, the ones with the big heads, they do have mottled buttholes. That's the only example I'm going to give you guys. But what could this mean? Why would Miyazaki grant them mottled buttholes? Why would they give them such a gift? Well, personally, I believe this to be some sort of message from Hidetaka Miyazaki. There are a few different ways one could interpret this. Perhaps this is a message to show Miyazaki's regrets with his previous franchise, Dark Souls. I've been losing myself in thought for hour upon hour these past few days, just pondering what could Miyazaki be trying to tell me? And then it hit me. Dark Souls sounds like dark holes. So maybe, just maybe, Miyazaki wasn't allowed to show his true vision in the Dark Souls franchise. It would actually make a lot of sense considering the themes that are in the Dark Souls series. Things like the Abyss, Artorias the Abyss Walker, the Dark Soul, the Firekeeper saying, "Touch the darkness within me." There's too many connections to draw, too many lines intertwining to be just a coincidence. As you know, in Dark Souls, there are 4 Lord Souls. The Soul of Life, the Soul of Death, the Soul of Light, and the Soul of Dark. With the Dark Soul, eventually came the Abyss. Manus is the father of the Abyss, and one of Gwyn's 4 knights, Artorias, walked the Abyss in order to defeat Manus, as that is how he got his name, Artorias the Abyss Walker. However, he was met with a horrible fate and got consumed by dark. This story could very well be symbolism for Try-Finger Butthole. Artorias the Ass Walker could represent a finger, and Manus and the Abyss could represent the hole, thus giving us Try-Finger Butthole. Looking deeper into it, this story could actually be a warning. While the hole can save us, and we should try to finger it, it could also consume us, as it did once with Artorias. So we must tread carefully. It's also worth noting that in the hit game Bloodborne, you could actually try fingering a pig's butthole. You could do this by slowly walking up behind the pig and performing a visceral attack. Speaking of Bloodborne, it's also worth mentioning something that the character Lady Maria says in the Old Hunters DLC. When you first approach her in her chair, she gets up and says to you, "A corpse should be left well alone."
A corpse should be left well alone.
Now you might be thinking to yourself, what does this quote have to do with Try-Finger Butthole and the overall deeper message behind it? Well, when you look at Bloodborne and you draw the connections between the pig and Lady Maria, one is alive and one is a corpse. I believe this is Miyazaki telling us that there are boundaries to Try-Finger Butthole, and it should stay strictly limited to living beings, as you probably don't want to finger a corpse. Or maybe Maria just didn't want your nasty bear paws all over her. Who knows? And that brings us to the end. What do you think Try-Finger Butthole could mean? Are all the games connected to one another through buttholes? Does Miyazaki have an obsession with buttholes? At the end of the day, it's up to your interpretation, as who am I to speak for the man himself? Did I really just make a video talking about buttholes?